Alrighty. We are back, and we have TaToH versus Vivi coming up next. But before that, thank you to Godiga for the 4-month resub with a Mibble and a love heart. Feeling the Mibble love. Fencing Master, thank you for the 2-month resub using that Prime to subscribe for free. And thank you for the 104-bit Dark Age Public Education. We're going to be getting TaToH versus Vivi going up next, and we have the map pool on the screen. You can see it's Descent Ring, Bog, and Atoll. So Bog and Atoll making their first appearance here in the round of 8.
Yeah, as I said, I'm always happy to see new maps, as in just different maps at a single session here. So it's going to be nice. Also nice to see how they were going to perform on Descent Ring, because TaToH and Vivi, special players, smart players, and this is going to be interesting to see their type of interpretation of this map, how to work on that and how to maneuver there. And also looking forward to seeing, of course, Bog and Atoll.
Yep, definitely a big fan of seeing a wide variety of maps, and that's something which I feel like ECL does quite well as a tournament. Not to pat our own backs too much, but the fact that we have the different map pools rotating throughout the year makes the map pools fresh and interesting, I hope, at least for the viewers. So Descent Ring will be coming up first. This is really a map which is very mechanical, as we saw with Jordan. Jordan absolutely dominant against him on this map just because of the compounding interest of those little advantages which he gained in the early game. And then Bog and Atoll. Bog, of course, a map which is open to raiding throughout the game due to its open nature. And Atoll, a game which we've seen many different strategies on, and hopefully we'll get to see here as well as we go into game number 1 between TaToH and Vivi for the Southeast Asia 1v1 stage, and this is the round of 8, the third match of the day, the third best of 3, to see who will make it through to the semi-finals. So TaToH spawning to the west in the blue, representing Team Secret as the Chinese here, and Vivi spawning to the east in the red, representing Team SY, also playing as the Chinese. It's a no-brainer civilization for this map, but demo's red. Maybe we can have a look at the scouting and see what's going on in the early game.
Exactly. So first of all, what Vivi does is, well, he has his transport ship garrisons and 2 water buffaloes directly on garrisons to get this scouting going.
Sorry to interrupt you. TaToH, look at this.
Oh, those buffaloes. Buffaloes still confirmed.
They are his now.
And not only one.
They're his. and Vivi just has to watch him sail away into the darkness, like, with his buffalo. That's filthy. That is filthy.
I mean, that happens. Something you have to keep in mind. Unexpected for sure, but well done and really harming at this point, because currently Vivi on his map just has a single rhino.
Well, for some reason, he took 2 of his water buffalo and sent them to the edge of the map at the start of the game as well.
Yeah, he wanted to go for the early scouting, didn't pay attention to what happened on his base, on his island that is, and then, yeah, well, he got the recipe for that one. It was unpleasant, really, really bad, because he's now forced to either get back the buffaloes, which he does currently, as in just the buffaloes on the shore. If he does that, it's because he's now not doing anything with the transport ship. Wow, he decides actually not to do this. Oh, okay, this is going to slow him down, though.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing at the moment, but I mean that steal from TaToH is absolutely huge. Pretty BM, but I guess TaToH's like, yeah, I want to win this game. I mean, if you want to win the game, you've got to make the plays that win the game, right? Still, Vivi's going to herd some of those water buffalo back into his ship and at least try and send them back to his island. And for now, he can take the shorefish, which is important.
It's important. It's such a huge lead now for TaToH. I mean, look at his island, look at the island of Vivi, the comparison. That many water buffaloes, additional water buffaloes, is just simply great basis until he can just go on the water and get the economy going on there. And Vivi instead just has those 4 safe buffaloes now. Good for him. But it's just not too many buffaloes now on the shoreline. As you can see, just 2 that I can count. In the meantime, of course, it's really important that the transport ships are doing further work to get the additional water buffaloes, but it seems simply really, really good for TaToH.
Yep, definitely. And There's a question in the chat. Vivi could steal them back, couldn't he? Well, yeah, he could actually, but he does risk running into TaToH's TC by doing that. At the moment, he hasn't scouted TaToH's position. I'm sure if he came in here, he might be able to get a couple of water buffalo conversions and hop them into the transport ship, but again, risks taking damage from the town center. And the last thing you want to happen here is to lose that transport ship, because you can't really afford to replace it, and you need to send villagers out to the edge of the map to take the wood. Now, fortunately for Vivi, it's not all too bad. He's actually managed to find a good number of water buffalo around the map. He sent another 3 back. He's got another 2 now. So it's not too bad. He will definitely have enough food, at least, to get himself to the feudal age without, you know, an absolute catastrophic failure here.
Right. In addition to that one, he also managed to get just this villager flow, the production of the villagers, just really, really well done, because he has the same numbers of villagers. The numbers are rising just equally, speed-wise. That's well done, actually. And therefore, it seemed really bad. It is actually really bad, of course, but like you've said, he managed to find also many additional water buffaloes. So actually, Vivi did well by equalizing the situation through finding more of his water buffaloes. Well done.
Yeah, definitely sort of, you know, what's the word? Damage control there. Vivi, they're running into the TC of TaToH. Literally, as we say, damage control. Oh my goodness, 17 HP. TaToH even attacked with the villagers there just to do as much damage as possible. And my goodness, 17 HP. Nearly losing that. And I think maybe if TaToH had stayed in the TC for another couple of seconds and got a couple more arrows out, he could have sank that ship. Huge downside if Vivi would have lost that, but he fortunately keeps it alive. Both players at the moment are very close together. They both built the dock at the same time. They pretty much both have even the fishing ship coming out at the same time. TaToH is you know, tiny bit ahead in villager production, but all in all, it's very even right now, with the exception of course, this transport ship. And don't go back into the TC,
I was going to say, what does he do there? Why does he go there to the same spot again? He needs to be extremely careful. 17 HP is not a joke. Why is that? Because he needs that transport ship. It's really essential to the map, on this map, to keep the transport ship alive, to make use of it, because obviously you're going to do some landing, and it's a great advantage to not spend the resources on a transport ship to produce it. Just have it and make use of it. With 17 HP, really fragile, and he just is so close to TC. He's asking for it.
I feel like he's trolling him right now. I feel like he's like, yep, this 17 HP transport ship. What are you gonna do about it? Like, you can't reach me with your silly arrows. Like, what are you gonna do? He's just like, yeah, right. It's just kind of rubbing his face in it a little bit. But I mean, Vivi probably should consider sending some villagers out to the edge of the map pretty soon. You can see TaToH's doing that right now. Vivi should maybe think about that as well, as at the moment TaToH's up to the feudal age. Vivi is about to click up, I imagine, if he drops his food, but he's actually queuing one more villager first, so he'll go up with 23. Could be costly, actually, if he ends up struggling on the water here.
Yeah, for sure. It's quite a difference now. The uptime, TaToH with the advantage. We all know what happens if you have the time advantage on water. Normally speaking, of course, you start getting on the water with military earlier and better. If maneuvered correctly, of course. Both players are able to do this. They're high-skilled players, so I assume that Vivi is still not going to make it too easy for TaToH to make use of this advantage that he has time-wise. We have a difference of, well, 50 seconds roughly.
Where's Vivi going?
I don't know,
his
he goes
transport
to
ship
the
is,
west.
yeah, right. I think he's up to no good. He's on stone. Like, this is going to be a classic Vivi play. This is going to be a tower rush onto that wood line, I bet. I mean, maybe not, but because he's not going right over there. But it feels to me like towers are on the horizon here.
No, but the thing is, he actually... Does he see? Yeah, he sees where the villages are, right? If he just looks off the looks on the fog of war.
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually knows that.
But no, he's gonna go for a lumber camp right now. It's interesting that he'd go to the west, though, right? Like, he could easily go to the east. It's not like he hasn't scouted it. He could easily come to the east. He could easily avoid TaToH. But Vivi's no fear, just, yeah, I'm coming at him. This is risky, though. That's a transport ship full of villagers, and TaToH is about to have 2 fire galleys out, as Vivi is just skimming past his island. TaToH goes the wrong way. He sees him. Oh, he's landing! Okay, he's landing on his... Oh, oh, you're kidding me. Vivi!
But TaToH as well. Look what TaToH does.
What a player! Bringing over the fire galleys, and he's so close to the edge. He's going to try and load... Oh, the transport's dead!
The transport
4 villagers are dead! No! Vivi, what are you doing? Not like this.
Wow.
2 HP in a dream. Oh my god.
Okay, wow.
This player, man. This player never fails to entertain. And that is why it's important to have more than 17 HP on your transport ship.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's really bad, of course.
Well, that is GG. I mean, you can't lose 5. You can't be 5 villagers behind in a water map like this and have 1 military versus 5.
Wow, I mean, something incredible what he did there. That's so bad. So many villagers lost. We got 25 villagers, 26, I'm sorry, versus 21 now. Also, more military for TaToH, obviously. We see the fire galleys, we see normal galleys. Vivi is in no position to actually engage here. And on top of this one, still, as we know him, he actually is dropping more towers to the west, northwest that is, as he has spotted the woodline. And now is going for it. Incredible.
It's so funny. Meanwhile, TaToH trying to pick off the fish here, but needs to back up now as Vivi's adding a couple of fires. But yeah, the tower here, it will be annoying, but of course TaToH will just wall this up and maybe move his lumber camp back. Maybe he'll, well, he can't afford another lumber camp right now, but he'll, for the time being at least, keep gathering some more wood before relocating. And yeah, I mean, Vivi on the water, what is this? He's got like 20 villagers on gold. He build a market or something? He doesn't have any villagers on wood right now, apart from the ones on his island, and that's really inefficient.
That's incredible. I mean, he has some plans, but at the same time, I'm just asking myself, why... I mean, not why, that's the wrong question, because it's Vivi. We know that he's someone who goes full aggressive a lot, right? He tries to get the control with that one. There's a reason why he does those things. He wants to control the game with that, but it's easier said than done. We have this is not Arabia, this is not a land map, we have a water map here, and therefore, of course, it's different. And you see how TaToH is currently making sure that the remaining navy of Vivi is about to go down as well.
Oh yeah. Good mix of fire galleys and galleys there. No fletching yet, but I don't think he needs it at the moment with this mix. And wow, TaToH's resources are pretty solid. I mean, if he does build a blacksmith, he can instantly afford fletching. He just doesn't have the blacksmith yet. Meanwhile, he's added a mining camp on the stone. He's probably thinking about some defensive towers just in case Vivi decides to build another transport ship or something. You never know. And there you go. There's a tower there on the wood for Vivi. I don't know if TaToH... Yeah, he can see it. Sorry, he's got the outpost. So he'll just relocate the lumber camp. You know, it's probably better to relocate the lumber camp right now than try and build a counter tower anyway. And yeah, meanwhile, I mean, he's safe in the knowledge that this game is well and truly won as long as he doesn't make any serious mistakes. Vivi, I think he's trying to go for the record of most gold collected in the feudal age. Nearly 700 right now and counting.
Yeah, indeed. The question is, of course, or is that really a question to ask, if what he does is actually good and efficient and actually leading to something? Because this tower thing, the attempt there has also completely stagnated. TaToH just simply moved away. He stonewalled. In theory, of course, Vivi can just go ahead and batter down those walls, but is it really worth it? Because he doesn't have the chance to actually, let's say, sacrifice that many villagers again, because he lost that many already. The villager count, though, is suspiciously equal.
It is.
Just asking myself if maybe wheelbarrow has been sacked.
Yeah, I was wondering that, but I mean, wheelbarrow is one of those things. It's like, well, yeah, it's good, but if you've not got any farms, there's definitely not such a huge rush to make it. I didn't see TaToH doing wheelbarrow, so I do wonder.
No, he does not have it.
Idled his TC, yeah. But, well, Vivi called GG anyway there after, you know, decisively losing the water and therefore losing the game. You've got to give him credit for trying these things. You know,
Right.
he's an entertaining player to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
no one else in the game would try and land 4 villagers or 5 villagers to drop a tower on his opponent's island when his transport ship only has 17 health. That's just absurd. But yeah, TaToH takes the win in game 1 quite comfortably, and maybe Vivi will have to default back to standard play, if that's such a
Mm-hmm.
thing, for game number 2.
Exactly. Interestingly done. Well played by both players because Vivi, as you said, he did his best to still apply the pressure. But TaToH, all in all, didn't become just any kind of bit nervous, and that's well done of him. Therefore, the second game will be exciting for sure. And as I said it, maybe Vivi will not go that crazy because this is actually match point game for TaToH now.
Yep, and Descent Ring was TaToH's home map. Maybe Vivi just was like, maybe a little bit of a protest. Like, I don't want to play this map. This map sucks, says Vivi. And he's like, you know what? I don't need this map. This map needs me. I'll make it interesting. And instead, I'll win on Bog and Atoll instead. Well, I don't know if that's his thought process. I'm just trying to figure out what happened there. And, of course, TaToH with the lame at the start might have thrown him off a little bit. But one thing's for sure, Bog is coming up next, and we'll get that game underway because
Start the game already!
We may as well jump into it after how short that first game was.
Indeed. I hope we will have a longer, elaborate game. I always like that. But we'll have to wait and see. Game is going to start right now. Also excited to see what kind of cities are going to be chosen here.
Mongols has been a popular choice so far. Indians have made an appearance as well. Let's see what we get as we go into our next game, game number 2. It is going to be a Mongol war, and it is going to be Bog for our second match. It's match point. Obviously, TaToH 1-0 at the moment. Secret need to be stopped, but they won't be stopped. Secret already at the top of the leaderboard. Vivi, representing Team Frantic in the red, wants a win here. He wants to stop Secret from pulling ahead and get his own team, Team Frantic, up into that second position. But that's going to be difficult as he's trailing right now, 0-1.
Exactly. So, Mongols war, going to be interesting for sure. The reason for Mongols here on this map, pretty much we have some wildlife here, and that's mostly consisting of rhinos. That's going to be really helpful for the Mongols here to get this fast food up. And also, of course, with that one, fast up times to apply a lot of pressure in feudal age. At least that's a possibility because there is water, but at the same time, there are shallow gaps or shallow places, spots to walk on. So you can actually skip the water or just walk above it and then just reach the enemy position right away. So that's going to be interesting to see how scouts are going to be played. It's also interesting to see if and when they are going to go and make use of the water and how much they're going to do with that one. Questions like this will be revealed and answered throughout the early stages of the game.
Absolutely. This is definitely a map which I'm a big fan of, actually. I know Mongols have been the players' favorites for this map in terms of civ pick, but I do like this map a lot, and I think it's just because it has that option. You know, it's one of those. It's a hybrid map, but it's a true hybrid map. You always have the option to raid through the middle. You cannot wall that off. You can wall a box around your base if you want to do that, but that's by no means efficient. And that means that not only can you raid through the middle, you can have demos in the middle, you can have galleys in the middle to try and hold that control. But you could just say, well, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want the middle anyway. I could just go around the edge, because that's completely open as well. So it's one of those maps, it's always open, and it's always going to be a challenge to wall, and that for me makes an interesting game. Right now, though, TaToH thinking about laming once again, because Vivi, no loom, heading out to build a dock, and TaToH's scout is sniffing around.
Exactly. He needs to be extremely careful. Without loom, of course, really huge danger. And what TaToH tries to find out is, of course, the positions of the rhinos, just to make sure that he can lame it. Vivi, though, with good timing, gets the next rhino under his TC safely. There's a third one remaining. At the same time, Vivi is also going for some scouting, trying to find out the position of his opponents. He currently does not know, by the way. So this is going to be interesting when he wants to do something. And there's a chance to actually, no, he doesn't go to the villager. He has also, TaToH also has loom. So I don't think that Vivi is going to engage there. Instead, he's just going to test out what he can do. Nope, he's gonna skip it. All right.
There's nothing you can really do there because of Loom. Of course, in Vivi's position, he hasn't got Loom, so he's decided to wall the villager in instead. And obviously, at the moment, TaToH's hanging around here with his scout, and that's throwing Vivi off the scent of that rhino. You know, he's thinking, well, maybe I won't take that because I could get lamed quite easily by TaToH's scout. It's already hard enough to take a rhino as it is, with your opponent's scout attacking you as well. I mean, it doesn't help. But he's going to go out and grab it now that Loom is researched, and we'll see if maybe, just maybe, TaToH can lame this. I think his goal here is to try and block the villager rather than attacking it too much. But at the moment, Vivi's really tilted by this. He's like, get out of here, god damn it.
Yeah. Really unhappy with that one. Another interesting thing is, of course, that both players with the same pop have clicked up pretty much at the same time. 5 seconds difference. It's not the end of the world, I assume. That's okay, and much expected from the Mongols to click up that early on. Now the curious thing is going to be, of course, what else are they going to do? Are they going to go for scouts? There's a high chance for that one. Or are they going to commit on water, or just one player and the other one will not? We'll see. And I just find it really interesting how TaToH
he's still trying to do it. Yeah, you're right.
Well, third time also. It's unbelievable, but it just worked for Vivi.
Yeah. Well, TaToH's patience was not rewarded. You could argue that it was somewhat rewarded because look how low all of those villagers are. There's 5 villagers there. Collectively, they probably have less HP than 1. But yeah, TaToH couldn't quite get the lane. But you know what else to do with the scout at that point, right? I mean, he's already in his base. He's already keeping a close eye on what's happening, and at the moment, he knows where the dock is. I think. Does he? Wait, actually, does he know where the dock is? He's looking for it now. So he's going to find it in a second, as he's feudal and wants to make fire galleys and contest the water while simultaneously contesting the land. Stable coming up for TaToH at home. Stable for Vivi, maybe? Or maybe not. I don't see it right now.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, now he can build it. He just was missing the resources as he was slightly off balance with his economy. There we go. The stable is finally in the making. So it seems that TaToH has a slight advantage timing-wise, because TaToH at least has the stable up and is producing the scouts. It's great for him. So we have to wait and see. Of course, the galleys are now on water as well. So multiple things will happen here. The galleys are missing out each other, interestingly. Not interested in to each other, but just rather focused on the fishing boats.
Seems like it. What a way to go. That kind of works out better for TaToH than anything, because Vivi made 3 fish, TaToH only made 2, and that's another reason why TaToH has the scouts faster, because he saved that 75 wood on the fishing ship and ended up building a stable instead. So works out in the end. But yeah, 3 scouts for TaToH right now, not pushing straight out, a little bit cautious. Does want to make sure he's got a few more before he lunges across the map. But will he go around the edge? Will he go through the middle? I mean, that's the question. He's got so many options here.
Yeah. On this map, as you said, so many options. Also waiting for a couple of spearmen to be actually utilized, because in Scouts War normally it happens nowadays that they send a couple of spearmen forward, or at least have them as a kind of protection. There are a couple of them. TaToH has 1, Vivi has 1. But still, it's interesting to see that TaToH's waiting. He has great numbers scout-wise, but he's still waiting because he actually wants to do something really specific. Protect his villagers in order to wall himself up. That's the main premise here currently, it seems.
Yeah, and that's surprising because it's quite an investment to wall up like this. And, you know, I got the impression that TaToH had the edge right at the start of the game. You know, he had that sort of that advantage, the speed advantage. He had the scouts faster. He had the first fire galley out, but then he decided to actually defend and wall up instead. You know, at the moment, he's ahead by 1 villager. He's behind by 1 fish. And militarily, they are even, but we'll see if that can change as this fight continues here. The fire galleys getting surrounded by the scouts. The spearmen from TaToH engaging the scouts from Vivi. A really well-executed fight from him.
Actually, well done. I cannot believe it, actually, that Vivi allows this one to happen like this, but he is prepared as well. He has quite some military. Currently, even he has more military than TaToH. It's not decisive, but still he is up there. but not so sure what exactly his plans are. He tries to get this galley down, the one of TaToH, and is successful. Good for him. At least equalizing the situation slightly. Now marching forward, but TaToH's plan was successful. He is now fully walled up.
Yep, no scout production for TaToH, just making some spears it seems, and sitting behind his walls. This spearman in here is trapped among the buildings. He's just waiting for his time to come out and strike. Maybe one day if these buildings eventually die. But yeah, it's fascinating to see TaToH playing so defensively here. And this now also gives Vivi the opportunity to go back on the water, which he might immediately regret as this demolition raft from TaToH is hanging around. And oh, he doesn't see them. It's so close. I think he's maybe waiting to see if he can catch the scouts, but the scouts are already on his side of the map, so maybe catching the fish could be a good idea.
It's highly crucial of TaToH that he does not remain in a defensive stance. Currently, I'd like to see that he wants to go forward with the scouts, and also has his demolition raft prepared. Harming the food income on water for Vivi is important, as much as possible, that is. Because the thing is, he's walled in, and this map is so huge. There's so many possibilities, so many resources, so much space, and his own space that he has now created is just quite small. So what I mean with that one is Vivi has all the chances in the world, in theory, to take over the map completely and surround TaToH in the long run. But of course, he should not allow this if he wants to win, and it's important and good to see that he's
the demo.
Nice.
Yes! He got 4 scouts and damaged 2. That doesn't get much better than that. TaToH going to be incredibly happy with that trade. And I think that's one of those things as well, you know, having that map wall like this, the wall that he's got, he can go out on the map like that and feel okay about it. So I like this from him, and at the moment he's just building a market, and I wonder if he's thinking about the castle age here in just a minute. Maybe he'll buy some food and get up to the castle age pretty quickly.
Right. That could be quite interesting and useful for him. Looking at the resources here, both pairs have some. And yeah, TaToH indeed going to be clicking up potentially a bit earlier, as he has a bit more food and nearly enough gold. So Vivi's maybe slightly behind there. Just also checking out what is he doing. Still producing military, by the way, on water. While TaToH also has his military ready, the Navy, demolition raft, as well as fire galley. So both pairs actually acting equally currently. I like it. It's not really evidence who is winning currently. So TaToH, though, as expected, clicking up earlier. The question then is, of course, what kind of units to go for in the long run.
Yeah, I think the main difference here for TaToH is that you know, he's not got as many fish, but he's going to equalize that. Oh my goodness, 3 for his demo there. Really, really well done. Literally, as I was saying, he doesn't have any fish. He makes sure that Vivi has none either, and he'll take a decent fight there, but probably wants to run the scouts away here, or just wants to suicide them. I guess he'll kill the fire galley now. But yeah, Castle Age is in. Second dock is on the way, and it looks like TaToH is going to start playing a bit more heavily for the water once he reaches the Castle Age.
I mean, why not? With that one, he could decide the situation on water, take it over, and then maybe have the advantage economy-wise as well, as he can use it. Would make sense. And also the question is, what does Vivi do about it? Well, he is on stone. That's the main important thing. And it seems that he doesn't place towers or something like this, interestingly. But instead, it seems that he probably wants to go for a castle and trying to act on land instead of on water. At least primarily.
Looks like that, doesn't it? He's got 4 vills there. It's not going to be a super rushed castle. I'm sending 2 more over actually to mine stone now as I say that. So maybe he's thinking, yeah, I'm not going to have the stone. Better send some more over. But TaToH, meanwhile, war galleys coming in, and in no villages on stone at all. So it looks like, you know, he's going to add that 2nd and 3rd TC and contest the water, while Vivi will look to be going for the castle and maybe try and raid with some Mangadai. But he could also go for his 2nd TC before the castle here, because he doesn't quite have the gold, the stone anyway.
That could definitely be. TaToH going for War Galley. As you said it, he wants to go for water. That makes sense. And also, interestingly, one camel there, just to make sure that any surviving scouts will be dealt with, maybe. Interesting to see this very unit. Also, nice to see that Vivi still wants to do something about the water, so he's not entirely giving up. Also, ambitious walling on his side. Still seems that TaToH is quite on a good run here, as he builds up the pressure, doesn't care about the defense advantage for Vivi, as he feels confident enough and has even Demolition Rats prepared.
Yep, looks like Vivi is actually going to stay on 1 TC now. As you say, quite ambitious walling, but he's not built the second TC. He's had the opportunity to do it. It does instead seem like he's going for that castle, and maybe we'll see some 1 TC aggression from Vivi into the 3 TC boom of Mr. TaToH here. Monastery coming up for him as well. Perhaps thinking about converting some ships if he gets the opportunity, or at the very least, perhaps converting any Mangudai that might try and raid him. But Vivi is putting the pressure on himself now because that castle is on the way up on the front, and he needs to be able to do some damage if he stays on 1 TC.
Exactly, this is what I was about to say. He needs to go for the damage now because he chose it. He's now behind with 7 villagers, and this number will increase as 1 versus 3 TCs. It makes sense. And for that one, wow, okay, quite some explosions happening here as well. I'm just asking myself, as the castle has been placed over there, does he really plan to go over the shallows? Because this could be quite suicidal.
Yeah, a bit risky if there's a demo ship waiting for him, and there certainly is a demo ship on the map, and I'm sure TaToH will make some more. I think the play here is send them around the edge, if anything, but for now, if Vivi isn't committing to 1 TC aggression, he's adding a second TC at the back, so he decided to go for the castle first, but he's not neglecting his economy entirely.
Also, he's on stone still, really heavily. I mean, that's a lot of villagers. Now he has shifted it, only 4 villagers. Okay, makes sense. Maybe he just wants to get 3rd DC. Okay, makes sense. Mangudais are in the making as well, though. And as you said it, so the question is, of course, where to maneuver them, but he's gonna take the sides and wants to attack from there. I mean, there's still a chance for Vivi. If he gets up early enough, easier said than done though, then he can surround his opponents. That could make sense, as TaToH still boxed in, hasn't moved out a bit yet, so the base of Vivi is bigger than the one of TaToH. We have to wait and see, of course, because TaToH, with the better economy, will potentially be able to protect himself as well.
Yeah, I mean, TaToH right now has an extra 13 villagers, an extra 8 military, so he is really pulling ahead in that regard, like, you know, economically and militarily, but Vivi is going for the Mangudai. He's got to try now and do some damage to TaToH, but this is not how you do it. You don't do it by running your army through the middle of the map and getting splattered by war galleys. There's a monk coming over from TaToH as well. He knows that there's a Mangudai coming in. See if he's converting the high health one here. He gets it. He does get the full health one as well. And with that, he's basically shut down this raid before it could even begin.
Wow, this is really unfortunate because I always want to stress it. If you're on 1 TC and if you apply pressure like this, that's your choice. But then it means that the value of your military is even bigger because you need to keep the numbers up. But we saw the Mangudais are now gone. I just see 1 there in front of TaToH's base. That should have been way more in order to deny this castle even, maybe could have happened. But nope, none of this is currently happening. This is really bad for Vivi. And if he now wants to step it up by adding more TCs, and he now has 3 TCs, as I can see, well, good luck with catching up because now TaToH is far ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's out on the water, he's got the bigger eco, and TaToH now is adding his own castle, but that's fine. He didn't need to add it before. Now he's got the eco, he can actually support Mangudai production, he can start building up a surplus of food and gold and work his way up to the Imperial Age as well, while his galleys give him great vision around the map and assist him in fighting the Mangudai that are coming over as well. So yeah, I mean, Vivi not taking good fights here at all. He's getting chipped away at slowly, little by little. And meanwhile, TaToH will start his own Mangudai production. Bodkin Arrow Bloodlines on the way, and that is already more upgrades than Vivi has.
True indeed. So it's also interesting to see that he is doing that. Bodkin Arrow Bloodlines and Mangudai production. Earlier, before the castle was up, I even thought, okay, does he maybe even want to go for Imperial Edge as soon as possible to apply pressure from there? But I think he does it well by actually going for the castle edge in order to just show Vivi, okay, I'm here and I'm not going to allow you to proceed with this, what you tried to do and it has failed, so now it's my time. And Vivi instead, he's himself defensively now, acting back at home with a couple of Magadai. He will be able to take care of a couple of issues there. But yeah, it's just TaToH all over the place now. I expect him to be up with more military very, very soon. And the water is also completely taken over. It's a really convenient position for him.
One thing I'm a little bit surprised at is that TaToH didn't add any more fish back in. He's got some nice fish quite close to his docks here, which, you know, with 900 wood in the bank, you'd think, you know, a few fish, even if he loses them in the next 10 minutes, they would have paid for themselves already. So, looks like he's selling some wood, buying some resources. He's actually bought some stone for a second castle, and he's going to build that somewhere on the left side. There it is. And that's going to help protect both flanks of his economy. I think TaToH's comfortable playing the late game here, up to 4 TCs. He's thinking big eco, big Mongol play, and just take it to the late game where he's probably confident that he's going to have the edge, not only just in the timing, but in maybe the technicalities of the game as well.
Yeah, I think so. I fully agree with that one. TaToH is now on the way to Imperial Age. Not only has he been able to step up a bit the army numbers, but now he's also fairly safe. The Magadai, though, now on the left-hand side of TaToH's base, attempted to deny the castle maybe, but nope, not going to work. Yeah, it's actually a really grim situation for Vivi. Looking at his resources in comparison, he's not close to clicking up yet. At least a minute or two will be needed in order to do so as well. Not even sure if he wants to click up at this point. It seems that he just is interested in producing more Magadai, slowing down his potential imp uptime if he ever wants to go there. Military numbers still way better for TaToH, economy also better. It's also grim, and I ask myself what Vivi wants to do in order to compensate the situation, because he cannot build up pressure at this point.
Yeah, I feel like Vivi hasn't really been here this game, you know? Like, he's just kind of... Yeah, things did not go too well for him, and at the moment, the counter-attack was the biggest sort of disappointment, I think, for him as well. He really wanted to get that counter-attack, but it just got shut down too quickly, and you know, maybe he should have played more heavily on the water. I don't know, but at the moment, he's trying to build a castle up to the north of his base. He's going to bring his Magadai over there to kill those ships, and maybe this is a point for him to try and retake some water control if he builds a couple of docks over here. But more to the point, the Imperial Age for TaToH is going to be so much more, so much faster, sorry, that those upgrades will come in a little sooner, the trebs will come out a little faster, and things for Vivi will be a struggle, especially when he's down by 20 vills like this.
Yeah, actually, there's not much to add to that one, because you said it's, I mean, Imperial Age trebuchets. He has the castles right now, but potentially TaToH can be up with trebs faster if he really wanted to, even though it seems that he has no ambitions of dropping a castle close by, also not the resources for that one. Okay, instead though he goes for galleons, look at this, as well as bracer, that makes sense. So it seems that he wants to pressure Vivi a bit concerning the woodlines that he has to the front. Okay, can be, if that's his intention. But other than that, I will expect those Magadai becoming very strong very soon. Thumb Ring, Chemistry, all of these techs will help them to become even stronger.
Yep, and they need a lot of upgrades to become, the full, or to reach their full potential. At the moment, we're still missing quite a lot, but we're getting there slowly but surely, as both players have ballistics now. Chemistry's coming in, Bracer's done. He needs Parthian tactics still. He still needs to probably get, he just finished Chemistry, sorry. He probably still needs to get the Elite Magadai upgrade. It's not cheap, but TaToH certainly has the economy to afford those techs, and I do question whether Vivi has the economy to do the same. And looking at his gold, I think the answer is maybe no. He'll try. He's doing Thumb Ring now, but the Magadai of TaToH are already in, and they're already stronger. They're already better. He's soon to have +4 defense, and Vivi knows it. GG called. A very quick game from TaToH once again, and a very dominant performance against Vivi here in this round.
Yeah, I think dominance and also clinical execution. There was not a single moment in which Vivi was actually able to show his trademark gameplay. He was not able to just enforce this. TaToH just said, nope, not going to allow this one. You're not going to take over the device to basically define what is going to happen, the rhythm of the game, and so on. Instead, it was TaToH always answering correctly and taking over and showing dominance throughout the entire game. And even though it was quite ambitious, the beginning, in my opinion, with TaToH boxing himself up like this, but he did well. You said it. He had a nice position like this to actually engage on water together with his scouts as well as his boats. And then, after all, Vivi just didn't perform too well towards the end, which is the reason why TaToH, with his nice gameplay, took over in the end.
Yeah, Vivi really likes to sow the seeds of chaos, and he never really got the opportunity to do that. And of course, TaToH just, like you said, sort of very straightforward clinical execution, and very, very, very well done by him. So 2-0 to TaToH. Not really much of a contest in that one, as we can go and back out and look at the brackets now and see just what that means for these teams and players. That puts Team Secret into the semi-finals, where they will face the winner of Velesa versus Stark, which will be our last match of the day. Tim and MBL will be semi-final number 1. That's Frantic and Aftermath. And then, of course, TaToH will face off against the winner of our next set. Velesa representing Team Suomi, and Stark representing Team VNA. So let's take a quick look at the... Oh, sorry, that's the wrong thing entirely. I wanted to show you the schedule there, just so you can see that on the screen. That'll be starting in a few moments. I'm just going to put the timer on and grab a quick bite to eat. So we'll be back in 4 minutes, guys. Stay tuned. We'll bring you Velesa versus Stark after this short break.